I'd like to welcome everyone to our speaker series, the first one of the 22-23 school year. So that is super exciting. For those of you who are watching tonight's webinar, you can engage with our student panelists by using the Q&A feature on your screen. So type in questions and then we can use those to moderate the conversation and get some of your questions answered. My name is Tara Sparks. I'm the Chief Academic Officer for the district, and I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Ronnie Zagora, who is our Executive Director of Secondary Education, to introduce our fabulous middle and high school guests who will be really facilitating the conversation tonight. Ronnie?
Great, thank you very much. So I am very excited to introduce you to our panelists tonight, and I will tell you that these students, which represent Sparing, Truman, and Lindbergh High School, were nominated by their school principals as great representatives of their school. So we're excited to have them with us. And while I do have some questions for them all, and we'll get the conversation going, please, if you are watching from home, feel free to type those questions in the Q&A, because we want everybody to feel ready for the first day of school, and our students who have lived this experience are going to help you with that. So I'd like to have our student panelists introduce themselves. So I will call you out in the order that I see you, and if you could just tell us your name and what grade and school you are from. So I'm going to start with Megan.
Hi, I'm Megan Minaj. I'm going to be a senior this year at Lindbergh High School.
Thanks, Megan. Emma.
Hi, I'm Emma Watts, and I'm going to be a junior this year at Lindbergh High School.
Thanks, Emma. Stella.
Hi, my name is Stella Pellerito. I'm going to 8th grade at Truman Middle School.
Nathan.
My name is Nathan Giesing. I'm going to 8th grade at Sparing Middle School.
Haley.
My name is Haley Cruz, and I'm going into 7th grade at Sparing.
Thanks, Haley. And Dane.
Hi, my name is Dane Pastrana, and I'm going into 8th grade at Truman Middle.
All right, great. Thank you all. So to get us started, my first question, and I will tell our panelists, you do not all have to answer every question. We'll just kind of hear from a couple of you, and just feel free to unmute when you're ready to talk, and we'll just see how this flows along. First thing I'd like for you to share with our viewers tonight is, can you tell us a little bit about thinking back to your first day of middle school or your first day of high school? What are some things that you remember? The good, the bad, and kind of how'd you get through that first day or two?
I'll go first. My first day of middle school, I was online at ARC for Truman, so it was definitely different than I expected my first day of middle school to be. But I was getting used to going back and forth with teachers, definitely different from elementary school with different teachers, and definitely lots of places to move around. 7th grade was all over the school, up and down, so I was getting used to making new friends, my new schedule, and all my new teachers.
I would say for me, at the start of my high school career, the first day was like very anticipated. There was a lot of things happening around, like there's so many people at the high school, so you have all that hustle and bustle, and then you have the band performing usually the first day, so they're all outside. It's a very welcoming space that first day at Lindbergh, and I would just say, just take it all in, enjoy every moment of it.
And to get this out of the way right now, for those of you that are watching that are new to high school this year, we know that you're unfamiliar with the building, and guess what? We all are. So all of our high school students that are coming into the building on the first day of school, it's going to be kind of like they're 9th graders all over again, learning where things are and how to navigate them. And I promise there will be plenty of adults on hand to help you with that. And so don't worry if you're not sure exactly where to go or what those numbers on your schedule mean. It will take you at most 2 or 3 days to figure it out. So, okay. My next question is, so thinking about starting at a new school, what are some ways that you would recommend our students could get involved and meet people outside of just those students in their classes? Or what are some things that you all have done to meet people?
I can go first for this. So I moved to Lindbergh new as well, and then coming in from middle school with a new point of view, all my friends and teachers were trying to get me to go into student council. And then eventually I did go into student council, and student council was for sure way for me to start opening up for new friendships as well. And then also just getting a better understanding of school spirit as well. So that would be my point of just clubs and activities of joining up.
So let me stick with that for middle. Oh, go
Sorry,
ahead.
go
Stella.
ahead. Oh, I was gonna say small talk is pretty good. Just saying how are you to different students. That's how I met a lot of my best friends. So small talk really helps meeting new people.
So if I am new to middle, let's do middle school first, and then we'll ask this question of high school. If I'm new to middle school and I want to get involved in clubs or activities, but I don't know where to start, what do I do?
So there's a sheet that like the email sends out in e-notes, and you can always do that. But then as well, you can always just go to one of the teachers if you want to join up, and you can always talk to them, and they always give you advice and are very helpful to join up right away. So if you're always confused, you can always just go to a principal or teacher, or there's also ways you can also reach out by email as well.
And those middle school clubs and activities are typically after school. Most of those are after school. A little bit different at the high school. So how about our high school folks? How would I get involved? Where would I go? Where do I start for clubs and activities at the high school?
I can answer this one. So at the high school, a lot of the clubs actually start, we do them like during lunch. We have a power lunch, so you don't even have to stay after. You can like have it during the school day, but a lot of clubs will have like signups with QR codes in the hallways, sports and other activities like that you have to do like before the start of the year. But with clubs, you can talk to teachers who sponsor them. We usually have like a club board that'll tell you all the types of clubs we have and how to join them. So there's a lot of stuff that you can do to get involved at the high school.
And what are some things that you all are involved in? So Megan, you just unmuted, so I'm gonna start with you.
Okay, so I'm going to be senior class president this upcoming year. I'm in student council, NHS, Rho Kappa. I'm part of the girls volleyball program. I manage the boys volleyball program as well. And I'm in youth and government at the high school. So that's kind of a general.
And Nathan mentioned student council. Anyone else? Activities or clubs or sports that you're involved in?
I'm in show choir, environmental club, and student council, and those are really fun. Those all the clubs you can learn about new people and meet new people. So that's a great way to meet new people there. And student council is really fun.
Riley, go ahead.
So I'm in drama club, and I'm in I was in jazz ensemble last year, and I'm going to try out again this year. And I was in newspaper club for a while, so those are all really good clubs to join. And with drama club, you have the option of either being an actor or a tech kid, and that's always really fun. So, yeah.
Go ahead, Haley.
I did cross country and track, and I'm gonna do band, so I might do jazz. No, so.
All right.
I also, student council is a great club. I'm vice president this semester. I'm also class president. I'm in like the Fire-Ettes, which is dance team, which is super fun. Student ambassadors, which tours the school, and Green Machine, and all those types of clubs.
Okay. So let's shift a little bit and talk about classes. So academics and teachers and all that great stuff. So let's start with, what would you say surprised you most about classes when you first started middle or high school? Maybe something that was different from whatever grade you came from before.
I would say at the high school level, teachers really want to work with you and want you to get the most out of their classes. They want to see you succeed, and not only just for the grade, but to see how much you actually learn and retain throughout the class. So I think our teachers at Lindbergh do a great job of working with students, having individualized sessions, especially through our academic networking period during our block schedule, and just making sure the students are doing their best and succeeding in their class.
So Megan, can I keep you for a second and ask you, you mentioned academic networking. Can you explain a little bit about what that is?
Yeah, so during our block schedule, because of how it's designed, we were able to have this kind of block part in our schedule during Thursdays, I believe, where it's split into two halves, and you can get requested out by any teacher you have for that time allotted. And it's just to get extra help on certain work and more individualized help.
And we do have something similar at middle school, and maybe one of our middle school panelists can talk a little bit about your flyer time and flex time and what you do there and how that helps. Go ahead, Stella.
Okay, so I'm in flight crew, which is like a leadership kind of activity at school where the students teach the flyer times on Mondays and Thursdays for middle school. And it's a really fun way to interact with new students. Like I'm teaching 7th grade this year, which is fun because you get to meet different grades and become friends with them. Flyer time is a time where you can have time to finish your homework if you didn't in your classes before. Flex time is on block days, you have, I think, an hour one day to have just homework and you can get it done. And it's very helpful.
So how have you handled any challenges you've come across in class? If you have something's just not clicking for you, you're maybe you've been absent and you're trying to catch up. What do you do if you feel like I'm just not getting it and I need a little extra help?
I know that whenever I'm having trouble in a class or anything, usually all the teachers are super up for helping. Like they always are up for answering any questions you have. They're really good about that. And you can always email teachers too, and they respond usually pretty quickly. So that's what I do.
How about homework? Let's talk about homework for managing your time. So that's definitely something that changes a little bit as our students get older and move through middle school and on up to high school. So what advice would you give to students about managing their homework and their classwork load and staying organized, which is a big part of it too?
I know this is easier said than done, but just try to do it as soon as you get it. Like in high school, you're going to get definitely a lot more than you do in middle school, and it can be kind of overwhelming sometimes. So try your best to like kind of, if it's a bigger project, do it in chunks, but don't wait till the last minute, and get a planner or your notes app on your phone, just so you make sure you're not missing any homework, because you'll have homework in like multiple classes. So staying on top of it is super important.
Nathan, I think you were going to add something to this one as well. You have any good advice?
Yeah, so as well, you had that extra day now on Thursday for middle school to always get stuff done. But I would say right when you get at home, just knock it out right away. That way you have like the rest of the day just to chill. But if things do get overwhelmed, then I would for sure use that day on Thursday just to spend that hour you have just working on homework and everything. And that's especially helpful if you're falling behind. That's a great way to get caught up on your classes.
Another thing I would say is good is that like it's good to get your work done that you get in classes, at least in middle school, like pretty quickly. So then you have extra time at the end of the class to finish homework from other classes that you've had. And it's really good, like they said before, to write down what you have so you don't forget anything. And what I like doing is when I come home, I give myself like a 30-minute break to kind of just like recover from school, I guess, recover or whatever, and kind of like take a break. But then after that, I do my homework and I give myself breaks in between so I don't get too burnt out.
Yeah, I would just reiterate what Emma said, by having a planner or some sort of system to organize your work. Time management is really key to succeeding in high school, especially if you're involved in a multitude of clubs or activities or even sports. Finding a way what works best with your schedule, and then also finding a way what like method of learning do you prefer. I know especially with having Chromebooks now, a lot of students like to take notes on their Chromebooks, but if you're more so a handwriter, finding your best strategy to succeed in your classes.
You are all full of such good advice. All right. Okay, so let's talk about something that I think frightens all new students, lunch. Right, you show up and I think everybody worries like, who am I going to sit with at lunch? And what do I do if my friends aren't in my class? And oh my gosh, am I going to have to eat lunch alone? So it's your first day. Talk a little bit about lunch. What does lunch look like? How long does it last? What are your freedoms? How do you get through those first few days, especially if maybe you're brand new to Lindbergh and you don't know other people? Dane, go ahead. Let's hear from you.
So basically, everybody is probably just like you. They're trying to make friends. They're all wanting to make more friends and get along with everybody. So you can pretty much sit at like any table you would like, and you probably find a friend or two. And then as that goes on, you can make more friends and everything. But yeah, so lunch usually lasts like 25 minutes. And then sometimes if it's not raining or not snowing, you can go out into the courtyard at Truman and you can hang out for if you finished your lunch. And yeah.
Riley, go ahead.
So it's pretty much the same at Sparing, where like you have a couple minutes to go out. It's usually 25 minutes and you have a couple minutes at the end to go out into recess. And what I've learned, like in 6th grade, I was like super shy about that whole thing. But in 7th grade, I learned all you have to do is ask people, and they're always super nice. And they're like, oh yeah, of course you can sit with us. So, I mean, if you don't have anybody to sit with, just ask someone and they'll be completely fine with it.
Yeah, so at the high school level, we have an hour for lunch through our power lunch system. And then that first week of school, it's going to be split into 2 lunches. So everyone adjusts into the schedule. But overall, with the hour lunch, it's the whole school having lunch at the same time. So if you know people who are like upperclassmen, you can all sit with them. And when it comes to finding your friends or anything like that, everyone's really kind about, joining people at your table. And if you're too shy to take that step, you can always go to your counselor, and your guidance counselor will set you up with a buddy. I know I've had that done before, and I've gotten a buddy. I actually had an exchange student become like one of my best friends this past year because of that. So it's a lot of fun. I think just go for it and everyone will reciprocate kindness.
Great, good advice. All right, something else that I think a lot of students come in worried about is PE. PE tends to be something that just makes kids nervous. So, and especially in middle school where you do have PE every year, and at high school it's a little bit different because you just take 2 semesters of PE, more if you want to. So let's start middle school, especially with PE. So questions that we get a lot from students and parents is, do you dress out for PE? Is it boys and girls PE together? Are they separate? So can you talk a little bit about middle school PE? What's it like and what to expect?
Middle school PE, last year, we didn't have lockers halfway. Girls got lockers probably January, and it was very helpful to put all of our supplies there. We didn't have to change into uniforms. I don't know how it looks this year, but we might have to. But I think because of COVID, we didn't have to do that. Gym is boys, and then usually girls are in the tile floor gym, and then the boys are in the wood floor gym. We usually see each other outside a lot, but I don't think we do much activities together. Yes, we'll see each other and we'll play gaga ball every once in a while if it's free choice, but it's mostly separated because different lessons and different activities that we'll do with different coaches. It's really fun.
Go ahead, Nathan.
So for the boys side, you normally vote if you want to do locker rooms, but we normally don't want to. So because we normally just want to go straight ahead and just start playing. So I would say wear just like your casual clothes ready for PE, because almost like the boys will probably vote do not do locker room. So I would say for the boys side, be ready just to bring tennis shoes and everything, because almost all of you will probably just want to go straight ahead and just start playing. So I would say for the boys side, I would for sure just dress like you would if you for a gym day. But I don't think we have any special shirts. I know we had done them in the past with pre-COVID, but now we're sort of over that, and we're just sort of, hey, we'll just let the boys decide whether they want to do it. My year did not vote for a locker room, and it was amazing because we just had like an extra 10 minutes to just playing. So I would say just dress ready for PE.
Anyone else want to chime in on this one?
I was just gonna say that at least at Sparing for the girls, we usually get like about 5 minutes after passing period to just kind of, if we want to change or use the restroom or fill up your water bottle or that sort of thing and put stuff in your locker. And then you'll go up to the gyms. And yeah, you don't really have to dress out. As long as you're wearing tennis shoes and a t-shirt, then you should be fine.
I can speak a little bit about high school gym classes. So it's your basic, typical gym class you'll experience at your middle school. Usually it's split by boys and girls. you'll have a locker room to dress out in. You're just expected to have, a t-shirt, some shorts, and then tennis shoes to be able to play in and do activities with. I think one thing that's special about the high school is that you're offered a multitude of different courses you can take for gym class. So I've taken like a weightlifting class with one of the football coaches as the instructor for it during my volleyball season, which I thought was really fun. And you get to learn a lot of different things, and it's not your typical gym class. So depending on what you like, you can do a different kind of gym experience, or there's a game, like there's a gym class specified on just playing games throughout the entire semester. And gym classes are done by semester at the high school.
So let's hear from everybody on this one, because it'll be a quick answer, and hopefully we'll kind of show off a variety of what we have to offer our students. What would you say has been your favorite class that you have had thus far in either middle or high school? So I'll give you a minute to think about that, and then we'll go around, and when you're ready, feel free to unmute and just share what's been your favorite class so far.
For me personally, I would say either AP US Government and Politics my sophomore year. I had an amazing teacher, and it's just a topic and discussion like I enjoyed. Or I would say my German classes, like throughout my high school career, I would love German. I'm taking AP German 5 this upcoming year. So one of those two.
I would have to choose social studies and history, just because that's sort of just been my family like bloodline of everyone's taught that and loved it. So I would have to do social studies and history.
I have to agree that social studies is pretty fun in middle school, at least at Sparing. We have a lot of really fun teachers for that. And I also have really enjoyed all of the acting and or set building classes with Mr. Madry. Those have all been really fun, and you get to do a lot of improvised acting and that sort of thing. So.
My favorite class was facts, because I like to cook and bake stuff.
My favorite class was science, because my teacher was really great. I'm really into human body and cells now. All the teachers so far that I've had at Truman are amazing, but science really made me really interested, because I didn't realize all the facts about science. So that really interested me.
My favorite at the high school, which I'm not really an English person, but my freshman year English class I loved, because the teacher, she was amazing. And I also, student council is a class at the high school, and if you get the opportunity to take it. Like, it is so fun. It's just like doing a bunch of school spirit work for like an hour, and it's really fun.
My favorite class in middle school was probably LEAP, because you got to be creative and you would learn about a bunch of different things and go back in time and like research a bunch of stuff and create, like we created time machines this past year. And so that was really fun to see everybody's different ideas and perspectives on the topic.
Well, you guys are really selling everything that we have to offer. So your answers worked out well as a nice segue, because one thing that we are really proud of in Lindbergh is that we really try to offer something for everybody, so that whatever your interests are and whatever your passions are, that you're able to find those in our classes and explore those things. And so you all gave some really great examples of things that maybe you didn't even know that you liked, that now you realize you like, or subjects that hadn't been your favorite, but because of our stellar teachers, those became your favorite. So I appreciate you sharing that. This one I'm going to, we've got middle school examples for this as well, I'm sure, but I know especially when our students get to the high school, we've been trying to really build in more career opportunities or opportunities outside of the high school, things where our students can go kind of learn what they do and don't like before they go to college or the workforce. And so Megan and Emma, if you have any examples, or maybe friends that participate in programs that are not just spending your day at Lindbergh High School, do you have any examples of that you could share with our audience?
Yeah, so a couple of my friends will do a program we have. It's called South Tech. It's a high school local to like the St. Louis area. It's 5 minutes away from Lindbergh, and they spend usually half their day there, either learning some sort of a trade topic or another topic of interest. So there's a arrangement of car mechanics to like veterinary assistant and dental hygienist type of topics. So that's one option for students who are interested in that. And then a lot of students choose to do early college as well, which will allow you to split your day between Lindbergh and STLCC to get that college credit in. And I think the last one is our CAPS program, where students can get, like, I know teaching is one subject area in that, but there's a lot of different options to get that pre-professional experience.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of different options for like splitting your day and like getting real world experience, which are like super cool. One thing I also love about it is there's a lot of programs that you can stay in school, but they're like classes that kind of help you figure out what you want to do career wise. Like I wanted to go into medicine, so I went on my freshman year down a biomedical track, which is like a program that we have, and it was really cool. It kind of got you to think like you were a doctor and kind of put you in situations that you might be in the real world. And it really showed me that was something that I wanted to do, which was really cool. And I know there's another program, the Capstone program, where you take an AP seminar class and an AP research class, which is also kind of getting you ready for another like real world career type situation, which is just like a lot of cool programs that we offer.
And for middle school, maybe you guys could talk a little bit about when you get into 7th and 8th grade, what some of your elective choices are. So most of our students that are coming into 6th grade probably didn't really have a lot of choice. We try to give our 6th graders a range of experiences in their elective classes, but then when they get into 7th and 8th grade, they have more choices. So could you share some of the examples of those and what they have to look forward to there?
So this year I'm doing inquiry-based art 2.0, 3D art, tech, like theater and tech designer, that sort of thing, and then acting. And I learned last year that I was really into all of those because I joined drama club in 6th grade, but it was like all weird because of quarantine. But 7th grade drama club was just really fun. So I learned to start taking those as my electives. And I'm also doing band, which is a thing that you get to start doing in 6th grade, which is super fun. We have a bunch of really cool teachers and it's really fun picking up a new instrument.
I'm doing Spanish. You do languages. You can choose from at Truman, French, German, or Spanish. And that's really fun because you get to have different activities to do. You get to see the people that are interested in Spanish as well. So Spanish just came easier to me because I already knew some of the numbers. So I thought that was pretty fun. But also other languages are really fun. I know the teachers are really great. I'm in choir, which is really good because there's tons of people that are in choir. So we sound a lot better with that. There's art class, there's facts, and those are the ones I took last year. So all of the electives we have are very engaging with other students, and the teachers are very helpful if you're confused on something. So I really like doing electives. It's one of my favorite parts of the day.
For me, I take Spanish 8th grade, but what's cool about the 8th grade Spanish is that counts as a high school year for the actual high school, and then that high school also counts for 1 year for a college because most colleges require a 2-year language. So I know 8th grade language would be a huge step of preparing yourself for a high school as well. So I would say language is also a great class you should take. Then I'm also in band, and our band program is so good. I love it. It's absolutely amazing experience. It's probably going to be like one of the best classes you'll ever take because our band program is just phenomenal. I really enjoy doing that every year.
All right. Before I ask my next question, I just want to remind those of you that are watching that if you have specific questions, you can type those into the Q&A and we will either ask our panelists or in some cases we can just answer those in writing and then those will pop up for you and you'll see that answer. So anything that we're not covering here that you're worried about or you have questions about, feel free to put that in our Q&A. So my next question for you all is, what is something that maybe you were worried about before you stepped into middle school or high school that now looking back on it, you shouldn't have worried about it at all? So something you felt better about then having gone through it.
I was really worried going into high school about the time between classes and middle school. Just like time between classes, like not sure if I was actually going to get to my classes on time, if stuff was far apart. But last year I had a class like in the complete opposite sides of Lindbergh High School, and it's a big campus, and I still made it on time. Like you will get used to your schedule and you'll get used to walking it, and after the first week you'll have everything down and you won't need to worry about it.
Yeah, going off of what Emma's saying, just the size of Lindbergh can be intimidating, but I think it just adds to the special feeling you get from attending there. It's really cool to be able to see like so many different people every day. I know I go like into school and I'll be able to see somebody I've never seen before every single day, like just walking past me in the halls, which I think is a cool experience. And I think it's nothing to be intimidated by because it just shows how big of a community we really are. And it allows you to be able to meet so many more people than you ever thought you would know. And I think when you're an incoming freshman, you'll get scared kind of by the upperclassmen, but I think our upperclassmen are really great this year, especially. And we're all really welcoming. We all want to see everyone have a great time in their high school career. And there's no like picking on or bullying at Lindbergh really in between class years. So yeah.
How about our middle schoolers? Riley, go ahead.
So there's actually quite a few questions in the Q&A, and one of them is how much time do you have in between classes? And you have a 4-minute passing period, which is more than enough to get from one class to another. So yeah, I mean, usually with me at least, I get there with 2 minutes still to spare, which I can just use to hang out with my friends and prepare for the class. So
great, thanks for answering that one. And we'll get to those Q&A questions, but before we do, I just want to make sure if anyone else wanted to share something that they were nervous about or worried about before middle school started that turned out okay. Okay, so we have a question about extracurricular activities at the middle school. Is there a list, or how would a student find out what all those options are for those after school clubs at the middle school?
I think there's an email that one of the counselors sends out. I was actually just looking at it about 40 minutes ago. There's an email list that should be sent out from Mrs. O'Daniel or someone else that's a counselor, at least at Truman, that's what it is. But there's a whole spreadsheet and there's forms you fill out, and then you could just get in or you try out whatever the club you're trying to get into.
at Sparing, Dr. Boger, our principal, sends out an enote every week on Sunday. And when our extracurricular activities start to happen, there's usually a link to a doc that has all the activities listed and like forms where you can sign up for them.
Thank you. So it sounds like keep an eye on the email and those lists will come out. And we do have activity buses for our middle school activities as well. We also have a question about taking our world languages. So by 2 years of language, does that mean you will have the same language for 7th and 8th grade? So if one of you that is taking a language in middle school could explain how that works.
So if you're coming in from a 7th grade or 6th grade, and in 6th grade you take 3 languages all in one semester, and then that prepares you of what language you want to take in 7th grade. But once you do step forward into 7th grade, you have to have prior experience in that class. So once you choose a language, you have to stick to that language once ahead. That's why you do have the advantages of looking at all 3 languages before choosing which one you want to do ahead of time. So, but you can, our 3 languages that we have is French, Spanish, and German. So those are the 3 options that you have to choose from.
Yeah, it's pretty much what he said. So basically in 6th grade, you will usually have a world cultures class where you rotate through both all French, German, and Spanish, which I don't remember if it's a quarter or a semester long, but I know you do that in 6th grade. And then once you get in 7th grade, you can choose to take a semester long class of either French, Spanish, or German. And then in 8th grade, you take a year-long class of either French, German, or Spanish. And that counts as a credit towards high school. So.
Okay. So we don't have any open questions right now. And so we can start to wrap this up, but I do have one question that I would like all of you to think about. And this may be tough if you've always been a Lindbergh kid. If you have come to Lindbergh from somewhere else, then maybe you have some examples. I will say my whole career has been in Lindbergh. So I think there are a lot of ways that I could answer this question from my perspective, but what do you think makes Lindbergh special? So we've got probably some in our audience tonight who maybe are joining Lindbergh for the first time ever, new to our district. So what do you feel like makes Lindbergh special?
Like a couple of us have said before, our band program is like a really good program. I think it's like one of the best in like the city or something like that. Our jazz ensemble is really good. We have a really good snare line and that sort of thing. So I think that makes Lindbergh pretty special, is how good our band program is.
I think the teachers make it very special. One of my teachers is very helpful, like specifically all of them are amazing. They're so helpful. They're always there for you. You'll raise your hand and they're always answering you. There's just a way of how they teach that it's very special, and they're very detailed with everything. They email you probably 20 minutes right after you email them. They're very on time with everything, and they have great activities for you. I say the teachers are very special at Lindbergh. I'm very lucky to have them.
I would say probably just the Lindbergh environment. It's where you sort of just like, if you decide to do a club and everything, it's where it's sort of like a student-led thing to know that even though that it's like a sponsor there, like a teacher watching you, you're sort of just doing like the thing yourself, but just the environment of when you walk into school and knowing that every single teacher, every student there will help you, just sort of that sense of this is where I belong. It's really like a special feeling just knowing, hey, like this is school, but yet it doesn't feel like school. You have people that will always look out for you. So I just feel like just the whole Lindbergh environment is, especially for me, it was just great to have.
I also feel kind of going off what Miss Segura said earlier, was there really is something for everyone at Lindbergh. Like no matter what you're interested in, if it is anything in like computers, if it's like a special like hobby or anything that you have, like there's something for you. There are people who share your same interests, and Lindbergh's really good about helping you find those people and helping you find like your niche and like your thing, and like there's a lot of support for what like you want to do.
I would say personally, the opportunities and relationships I've made throughout my time at Lindbergh have been really special. And I think I would not have been able to have that opportunity anywhere else, especially working with the Lindbergh Foundation and even just central office. I've had a lot of opportunities to speak at meetings and everything like that. So getting that real world feel, and especially just the people at Lindbergh are so great. They're always so welcoming. I've never had a bad experience with anyone there. And like Emma said as well, you will find your people at the high school. There's a club for almost anything and everything you want. Teachers are always open to making clubs for any kind of niche you have. So like we have even a clapping club and a bread club. So like it's really anything you want can be a club at the high school. And we have around 70 plus clubs. You'll find your people. It's nothing really to worry about, but yeah.
I just wanted to add, I've sort of forgotten. Wait, hold on. Never mind.
No problem. Dane or Haley, anything you want to add about what you feel makes Lindbergh special?
I would just say like all the clubs you can do, and there's like a club for almost anything, so you can meet other people that like the same things as you.
I remember now. What I was going to say is that the teachers and like everybody, all the employees at Lindbergh, they all really like take in the students' like preferences and their ideas. Like the students are very important in Lindbergh, and I think that's just really cool.
Thanks, Riley. Dane?
I would say kind of to add to like the teachers, they definitely open a lot of opportunities for you to learn new things, and they focus in on you specifically, and it's basically like a class. It's just focused on you, and they just sprout you up and they just grow you, and it's a really good experience to learn from all these teachers and the different ways that they teach.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Go ahead, Megan.
Another thing real quick, off teachers, I think Lindbergh puts a lot of emphasis on their teacher training as well. I know our teachers will do teacher training days where we're off school, but they're back in school getting more experience, learning more just to benefit us as a student. So I think that's something that's really special. I know new teachers at Lindbergh High School were just having their little weekly boot camp before high school starts, where they got to learn just the ins and out of the high school and get to feel more comfortable for the start of the school year. So I think the emphasis Lindbergh puts on their teachers and the importance of their teachers, I think is something really special.
Thank you. All right, we have one question left in the Q&A. And again, if you want to type in some more, feel free. We're here to answer your questions. I am kind of shocked that we haven't gotten to this yet because I know it is such a concern for a lot of our incoming students, and that is, what's the deal with lockers? Are they helpful? Who has them? Does anyone have them anymore? Do you really need one? How do you get by without one?
So I was in flight crew earlier this week, and we had our sixth graders there, and Dr. Boger spoke from sparing standpoint of sparing is not doing lockers again this year. And for me, I feel like that's actually a benefit. I've carried just a backpack around. Some people just bring drawstring bags, and I would say that is so much more helpful just having thing hands-on. I feel like it's better not to have a locker. But from what I know so far, and this might change, is we are not doing lockers at Sparing Middle School. I don't know that's for other schools, but that's how it is going to be at Sparing.
Yeah, at Truman last year we didn't have lockers, and I think it was you'll survive without lockers. It's not bad. Everything is I find it easier to have everything with you. Like Nathan said, I think it's I feel more prepared with everything. Get your notebook out, and if I left it in my locker, then you have to leave the class, and then you might miss something or miss an assignment you forgot to write down. So the girls had lockers in their gym locker room, which was pretty helpful just to keep that there and away. But in the hallways, I feel it's a lot easier just to have it with you.
Another thing too is if you have a project you've been working on in a class or something where you don't want to carry it around with you, almost any of the teachers that you have will be completely fine with you keeping it in their room until the end of the class. Or if you have an instrument that you don't want to carry around all day, there are lockers in the band room that are very useful for bigger instruments like trombones and saxophones and that sort of thing.
The same kind of idea applies at the high school. I mean, lockers are available, but nobody really uses them because you just kind of keep everything in your backpack. I would say investing in a good, durable backpack is something to keep in mind at the high school level because you're just going to be having a bit more stuff than the middle school. But I would say also with the advancement of technology and just us having Chromebooks now, you really don't need that much. It depends what type of student you are, but you really won't need too much and you'll be able to hold it in your backpack at school. And if you're participating in sports, you'll be able to have those team locker rooms to use to leave your bags for those things.
And for the parents who are joining us that are wondering, how do you carry all of your books? We don't have a lot of heavy textbooks anymore. So not a lot of big, thick, heavy books are issued to our students. We'll still see that a little bit in some of our upper level high school classes, but for the most part, it's not what it used to be. So we have a question in here about, I think we just answered a couple of these. What do you put in locker rooms? So Megan mentioned the locker rooms for some of the team sports. What do you do with your lunch during the day? You just carry that with you, I would assume. Keep it in your backpack. Okay. List of athletic teams at the high school. You could probably find it on our athletics website. If you go to the district homepage and you choose Lindbergh High School, then you can connect to our athletics web page there, and it would show you what our fall, winter, and spring sports are.
One other thing about that, we have a lot of intramural sports too, so a lot of club sports. So those are also available. I know hockey's not school sponsored, but Lindbergh has a hockey team. So just look out for emails and especially that website.
All right, I'm not seeing anything else in our Q&A. So I think it's an appropriate time to wrap up here unless we see something else pop up. I want to thank our panelists so much because I think you all are what makes Lindbergh so special. we have the most wonderful students, and I'm so appreciative of your time here tonight to help guide our new arrivals as they're getting ready to start middle and high school next week. So those of you that are watching, you have obviously seen some of Lindbergh's finest here, but they also represent so many different things that are available to your students. So we hope that you will explore some of the options that they've talked about here tonight. We hope that maybe this helps our new students shed some of those nerves that they may have had coming into the first week of school. We're excited to have all of you in our buildings next Tuesday. Like I said, there will be plenty of students and staff that are there to help answer your every question and get you where you need to be on time. And don't worry if you're a minute or two late those first couple of days, because everyone's trying to figure out how to get where they go. And you'll find that we're a very forgiving group of people, and we just want to help and make everyone feel welcome. So we really do appreciate your time. Thank you so much, all of you, for joining us. Take care and enjoy your last week of summer.